Welcome back to the GSMC Double Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jamper. Every segment prior, we are talking NBA, the play-in, NFL Draft, Cleveland Browns, and started off with Lee Corso and his retiring from College Game Day. This final segment, we're talking NBA again, but we're not talking players. We're talking GM Nico Harrison. I guarantee you, unless you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, you had no idea who this guy was before the trade. I didn't know who he was either. I don't care for the Dallas Mavericks GM organization. I don't really care for him. But until the trade, you know what I'm talking about. The most devastating, the worst trade in possibly sports history. Possibly. It's up there for sure. It definitely is up there. Definitely top 3, if not number 1. Before the trade, you had no idea who he was. After the trade, he was public enemy number 1. He's definitely not a very liked person in Dallas anymore. Definitely shouldn't, how do I say this? I'm not really going to say that. But, he has he's made a questionable decision. Trading possibly one of the best players in the NBA. He did trade for top 3 player in the NBA for aging Anthony Davis. And his reasoning, defense. Okay, that's fair. But the thing is, if it was like, the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, maybe, requesting the trade, yeah, maybe I can see differently. But Nico Harrison, he's the one who requested the trade. He said, hey, we'll trade you guys Luka Dončić because his defense isn't good, even though it's not that bad, and he's fat. For an aging Anthony Davis and Max Christie, who, by the way, are both really good. But, the trade is still, to this day, baffles me. I will never understand why you will just trade your second best player in franchise history. I still have Dirk ahead of him just because he won a championship with them. If Luka won a championship, I would have Luka over Dirk, but just Dirk has that championship for him, so I had to put Dirk above Luka. But still, you trade the second best player in your franchise history, and he's only 25, 26 years old. Trading him that young for two guys who are both good but nowhere near the Luka level, because defense wins championships. That's just absurd to me. That trade is absolutely unreal to me to this day. AD isn't playing good basketball though. When he's healthy, he plays great basketball. He's dropping 20 plus points a night, high teens, 20 plus, getting 9 plus boards a night as well. So he's not a bad player whatsoever. It's the fact that they were willing to trade Luka, and that trade is still just absolutely mind-boggling to me still to this day. And one thing that has happened, since the trades, because it happened in February, I believe it was February. It is now mid-April, and he just thinks he's safe. I don't mean from threats. I mean obviously I hope he doesn't receive threats. Obviously he's just a job at the end of the day. But I mean from getting fired. He sits, he stands in the tunnel. He's sitting in the bleachers, in the stands, not in the owners, the GM booth or whatever. And he thinks he's getting all cozied up. And he thinks that since the upper management, because the upper management, they have to, accept the trade. It can't just be he proposes it and it goes through. They have to, sign off, agree with it. And he thinks that just because they did that, he's safe from being fired. And that's just absolutely not true. I think that if, at least this year, he's safe, I'll say for the rest of this year. If next year this doesn't pan out, he's gone. And there's no doubt in my mind. He said defense wins championships and he wants to win now. You were in the you were in the championship last year with Luka. He carried you guys through the playoffs with Kyrie to the NBA championship. Yeah, you lost to the Boston Celtics, and I believe it was 5 or 6. But still, you don't trade Luka because he's quote-unquote fat when he was what, 250, 240? He lost that weight so fast in LA. Just get him on a plan. I mean, all you had to do was put him on a meal plan, a workout routine, and he would have lost that weight within a month. He would have lost the weight you needed him to lose within a month or so. And it still just is insane to me that he made that trade. That trade still baffles me to this day, but you can't undo it now. And there was I originally thought when I saw that it was a joke. It was like a prank, like someone's like, when I saw that tweet from Shams, I thought it was a prank. I thought someone stole his phone. No one stole his phone. No one hacked his account. It was legit. And I mean, it's just really insane that he still made that trade. But go back to him being safe or whatever. I don't think he is. I think if he doesn't do good next year, at least make the play, not the play in. He needs to make the playoffs to be secure. But he's sitting in the bleachers in the tunnel, and he's getting booed or whatever, and he just thinks that people are gonna look over the fact that he traded Luka Dončić. No one's looking over that. No one is going out of their way to look over the fact that you traded your franchise's second greatest player ever 2 months ago. No one's gonna forget that for a while. That trade will never be forgiven or forgotten. That will be a forever remembered trade. And I don't think the Dallas Mavericks will ever accept the fact that he's gone until not only he retires, but he literally passes away. Until he literally dies, I do not think the Dallas Mavericks fans, especially people who are still alive right now to see the trade happen, and the fans who are currently live watching the Mavericks, are going to forget about that trade and forget about what Nico Harris did to the Mavericks. I do think that if the Mavericks end up winning a championship within the next 2 or 3 seasons with Kyrie and AD at the helm, I do think people will end up forgiving him. But if they don't win a championship within the next few seasons, I do believe that he will forever be remembered as the GM who ruined a franchise. He ruined the franchise that Mark Cuban spent 30-plus years building for him to ruin in 30 days. And that is just a fact. I mean, I'm not saying that, as a Dallas fan. I'm saying that as an NBA fan. As a fan of the NBA, he did an unimagined... He committed a tragedy. He committed atrocities by making that trade. I mean, what the fans thought of that originally, they protested the games. They weren't going to games. The Dallas Mavericks lost a lot of money. They lost billions or high millions, high millions, $800 million, a lot of money from Luka being traded. They lost endorsement deals. They lost endorsement deals. I mean, it really is just horrible what he did. Yeah, he wants to win now, which is fine. But like I said, you were winning last year. You don't go to the NBA Finals through luck. You made it. You made it through a very competitive Western Conference last year to face the Boston Celtics in the East. So yeah, I mean, the trade by itself is just absolutely insane still. I mean, like I said, if he doesn't win a championship in the next year or 2 seasons, he will be fired, and he should never be allowed to work for another sports organization ever again, just because of that one trade. But if he does win, people will still hate on him for making that trade. Because I do think if Luka was still here, they'd be in the playoffs, not play in. They were playing great basketball with him there. They were 5-6 games above 500, in the 5 seed in the West, and they traded him and they dropped to the play in the 10 spot. But I mean, you just don't trade Luka, man. Still crazy to me to this day. But yeah, like I said, if they do win a championship in the next 2 or 3 seasons, 1, 2, 3 seasons, now they definitely won't win it this year. There's no way. If they make it to the finals and win, I'll be astonished. But if they win it in the next 2 to 3 seasons, I think people will end up forgiving him more than what they had. They'll forgive him, but not fully. But we'll have to wait and see in those 2-3 years if he inevitably does. Who knows? If he gets fired, him getting fired is a lot more probable right now than him winning a championship. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Only time will tell. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. Your continuous support really means the world, so feel free to like, comment, and share. It really means a lot by sharing and, hopefully sharing this with your friends, family, to help them, listen to us. It really means a lot, so please do so. If you want to stay up to date with all things GSMC, Feel free to follow us on our social medias. Instagram, Snapchat, X/Twitter, Facebook, any social media, we're on it. So feel free to look us up, follow us on there, stay up to date with all things GSMC. And thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Have a good one.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.